Greetings, everyone. My name is Joshua Query. I am the Party Affairs Director here at the New Hampshire Democratic Party. Along with that, I'm also an artist by trade. And today we're going to go ahead and cover Canva. Canva is a fantastic tool that many people already are using, but many people are interested in learning how to get to use Canva. Today we're going to go over this fantastic tool that's able to help you design graphics for both social media, event flyers. You can also use it to design candidate literature as well as candidate mail. So before we get started, we're gonna cover not just how to set up, but the different options for the accounts, whether that's free or paid, and what those cover. Then we're gonna move into best practices on how, when you're designing your document, you want to make sure that it's a captivating design that gets the most attention possible. Then we're also going to cover how to size your document and what options there are, whether that's for Mobilize, for Facebook, for other social medias. Then we're finally going to end up with how to save the document and what options are best to make sure that you're getting the best quality out of your design. Let's get started. So before we get started designing graphics, we're going to go over what kind of accounts there are available to you. There's the Canva Free, which has no cost associated at all. And then there's the Canva Pro, which is $120 billed annually. Now, let's go into what you get for the Canva Free. As you can see here, you get quite a lot of different options. You get 2 million pre-designed, professionally designed templates at your fingertip. You also get 4.5 million stock photos and graphics also at your fingertips. If you've ever used Microsoft Publisher in the past, Canva Free is very similar to that in that you've got basic editing tools as well as those pre-stock images available to you. It is very simple to use, and I recommend starting with the free account before moving into the Canva Pro to see what features you really use or that you want to use to make sure that you're not going to be spending money that you might not have to. So what do you get with a Canva Pro account? Well, so with Canva Pro, you get unlimited access to all premium templates. Now there are some fantastic templates in there that we use often here. Um, they are going to be clean, ready to be published. All you have to do is enter in your own information. They're super handy if you're not comfortable with designing stuff. You also get 140 million photos, videos, graphics, and audio. If you notice, I added in videos and audio. Those are super helpful if you're going to be making TikToks or Instagram Reels or YouTube Shorts. They're able to make it so that you're able to have premium sound that won't get copyrighted when you post it onto those accounts because they're free and you do pay for them. Or sorry, they're not free, but you pay for them through this and they're free for you to use. Um, the other thing is you're able to resize your designs. So if you make a design and you really like it, but it's the wrong shape, or maybe you want to make it into a flyer, you're able to magic resize, which is a tool that we'll get into a little bit later, which will able to change it from maybe a square format to a rectangular format with very minimal work on your part. The other thing is that if you've ever seen documents where the candidate is cut out, you're able to use background remover tool, which is a very handy tool to use here in Canva. Also, you're able to get access to a lot of new fonts and typefaces for you to use. There are a bunch of free ones, but you get even more with the paid account. As I said, I really recommend starting with the Canva free. You can upgrade at any time and realize what you do and do not use. Some people have done this for a while and still only use the Canva free. Myself, who uses this almost every day, I use the Canva Pro just to make sure that we're getting the best content possible for the state party. So let's move on to actually creating a document. So let's start designing. Today, for example, we're going to make a simple social media post to let folks know about your upcoming meeting. So to get started, we're here on our homepage for Canva. You're going to click on the little plus sign in the upper left. Your screen may look a little different depending on what system you're using it for. So right off the top, you can see here, you're given a lot of different options. There's documents, presentation, you can edit photos, you can create social media posts pre-sized for you, or you can go ahead and hit custom size, which will allow you to make a document of your own choosing. To get started, you can see right here, there's a popular, which is going to give you a lot of different options of different social media posts. You can also click on the options up above, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, all available to you right there. These are going to be simple, ready-made sizes. So these are not the templates themselves, but they're the ready-made sizes. If you click on what you're looking for, you'll open up a new document, which will be pre-sized for you. We're going to wait for it to load. And as you can see here, it's already opening up templates. Now, I always like to start with a template just to get myself in the groove of things and ready to get started. So I'm going to look up meeting announcement. And you can see it already comes up. So right off the top, it's going to show me some great graphics. Some of them are more complex, some of them are more simple. I usually tend to go with the more simple ones. However, it's up to you. I like simple because you think about it when people are scrolling, you want something that's going to catch their eye immediately and be able to get the information without them having to sit on their phone and look at it for a long time. So something like this Meet the Creative Minds template here. As you can see, anything with the crown is that Pro feature. So we will be using Pro. However, there are plenty of templates that are available for you if you use the free account. So let's get started with this simple one. Right here, you can see it actually gives me quite a lot. This is really handy for if you're making a post with multiple images, whether that's on Facebook or if you're using the feature in Instagram where you can add multiple photos per post. We're going to go ahead and start with just this basic one. So we're going to add our own name. I'm going to do it for the Manchester City Democrats, and we're going to do as such. So I'm going to first fill in all of the information here, monthly. And then I would actually change this to when the meeting is. So our meeting is going to be on June 29th. And then where this is, I'm going to actually change this into the time, 3 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. Then the other information that I want to always include is the location, whether that's on Zoom or if you're going to have it at a certain location like a public library, or if you have an office space that you use to hold your meetings, make sure that that's there. So I'm going to change this into the Manchester field office. Helps if I spell field correctly. And I spelled it the exact same way. And then you want to make sure you include the address. So just like that, we've already created a ready to go social media post that's ready to go on as it is. Now, if you want to get a little more complex with it, you can go ahead and start rearranging elements and making sure that it's going to be something truly creative of your own. So for me, I kind of wish the Manchester City Dems was a little bit bigger. So you just grab the little white circle there, and immediately you can start scaling stuff up. You're also able to just like you would in a Word document, highlight it and go up to here and select the size that you'd like. So I'm going to go to 48 with that. Then I don't like how meeting is so small. I'm also going to make that a little bit larger just to be a little bit more creative. Now you can see things are starting to overlap. So that's when you want to start just making sure nothing is overlapping. You want to give a little space. That way it's easier to read. The other thing that you want to do is just make sure that the information that's really important is ready to go for you. So for this one, because it's within a shape, you want to just go and click this up. And then I think it's a little high up, so I'm going to move it down a little bit. So there we go. We now have an Instagram post ready to go. As you can tell, this was really quick. A lot of people think that these are going to take forever to do, or it's a daunting task because you might not be creative or you might not know where to begin. As you can see, it's quick, it's simple. Some of the best practices that I recommend when making a social media post is keep it simple. Like I said earlier, you really want to make sure it captures people's attention. So as you can see, we have only 5 colors. We've got the cream color, the light blue, the light pink, the green, the yellow. That's going to make it so it's still visually interesting. However, it's not really um, in your face about it. It's not going to, be kind of garish, if you will. The other thing, you want to keep your text, your fonts in your text to a couple. I know that there are a lot of different options, but you want to keep it simple only because you want to make sure it's easy to read, and you also want to make sure that it's visually pleasing as well. Sometimes when you get 3 or 4 text fonts in there, it becomes a little distracting and you don't know really where to read and you're kind of bouncing all over the place. Once again, simple, simple, simple. If you want to go a little bit more complex, I recommend maybe adding in a photo. So if you have a picture of a previous meeting, you could go ahead and add that in on this post as well. Sometimes it's simple to just take a photo of an event and put your text right over that photo. Sometimes those are the best and easiest graphics, and they're always going to be relevant. And all you have to do is really just kind of change the date and time between each meeting. So now you've got a graphic, but you also want to make sure that you're able to upload this to Mobilize. Now, as many of you already know, Mobilize has a specific size for what the graphics need to be in order to upload. That size is 1200 by 630 pixels, which I know is a little confusing because most of what we do is in inches. So one of those pro features that I talked about earlier, you're able to magic resize this document. So once again, anywhere where you see a crown is a pro feature. If you don't have these and you think that you're going to use this, this might be why you want to upgrade to that pro account. So you can see here, for me, that is an already suggested size because I do this quite a lot where I make something for social media and I want to be able to use it over for Mobilize as well. So for me, it already pops up. However, for some of you, for the first few times, you're going to have to go to custom size. You'll see it. It will come up already in custom size with the pixels for what the Instagram post is. Here, you're just going to type in 1200 and the height is 630. So that's a long rectangle. You'll see it will automatically select if this is a landscape, portrait, or a square size. Then you want to check it, and then you want to make sure, this part always messes me up, you want to make sure you hit copy and resize, not resize this design. Otherwise, all the work you just did making that Instagram is now gone. So you want to make sure you hit copy and resize. So it uses AI to recreate this picture. And once it's ready, you'll see here it says open the 1200 by 630 pixel version. So just click on it and it already has it open. Now you can see it's kind of made things just right down the middle. So we want to make sure we go back in and make it visually interesting again, so we don't have these two bars of empty space on either side. So what I like to do is just move things around. I like things in the corners. I also like to vary the size. So once again, grabbing that white circle and dragging it. As you can see with this one, it's at an angle. That you just grab the white circle with the two arrows and you can rotate it. So again, gonna grab this one and move it over here. Not quite in the corner, but a little bit in the corner. And then this one, once again, not quite in the corner. I always like to go a little bit off the page. Remember, these graphics, these ideas are not the center of attention. So it's okay if they get a little cropped in the mix. So now we're going to go ahead and resize our text again. So I'm going to make Manchester City Democrats pretty big. And I'm going to make sure I align it in the center. If you notice, there's some purple lines that show up. This is telling you that it's in the center of the document. You can also click on the position button and use the align to page function to say, okay, I want it in the center, or I'm going to put it to the top. But I don't always recommend putting things all the way to the top because it might just get cropped out a little bit. So maybe you want to move multiple things at once. What you can do is you can click on an item, hold your shift key, and click on all of the items that you wish to click. Once you do that, you're able to use those white bars again, or white circles, and resize it. So I'm making this nice and big, and I'm gonna leave it here and show you that feature again for this. So if you notice, it says center, but that's not in the center, right? Well, that's because it is centering each of those elements to each other. So if you want to make sure that each element is centered within the page, you'll have to either deselect it and do it one at a time, or maybe you've got things in a perfect place that you want to do, and so you don't want to get things out of a line. You can group those three elements together by hitting that group button. Now you'll see that that option to center it with the page is back available. So there you go. The last thing I'm going to do is make the time a little bit bigger again. Oh, looks like it moved things down. That's okay. Grab these little white pill shapes and you can stretch it out. And once again, drag it until you see that white line, or sorry, the purple line to tell you that it's in center. Now I'm just going to make our address a little bit bigger and drag it down to the bottom and centered. It looks like things are a little bottom heavy, so I'm just going to shift everything up. And there we go. Just like that, another couple of minutes, and I've now got the Mobilize event graphic ready to go. Remember, if you need a graphic added to your Mobilize event, feel free to email us at political@nhdp.org. We're happy to update those graphics for you. So now you've got this done. You've got a social media post and you've got the mobilize. Now you need to save it. So how do you go about that? You go to share and then download. Once here, you're going to be given all of the different options there are for downloading this image. So you've got JPEG, PNG, PDF, PDF print, SVG, and a few others that aren't really going to be relevant for your use. So today we're going to focus on JPEG and PNG. What's the difference? Those are basic file types where JPEG will remove a little bit of data every time you open and close it. Over time, a JPEG image will deteriorate. So if you've ever had a picture that you open or send around and it's been sent to a couple people and it comes out being really pixelated or grainy, that's because every time you close a JPEG or send a JPEG, it deletes a little bit of information to make it smaller. A PNG is always going to be the same exact size. I recommend doing a PNG. It's the best for putting on social media, on websites, because anyone's computer is going to be able to reconstruct that image perfectly every single time. A JPEG, it might not come across, and you'll lose some of those finer details depending on how old that image is. For PDF, simple. It's PDF. It's a great document, especially if you're making flyers. I recommend this. PDF print is a little bit more in depth. This is great if you're wanting to send stuff to a professional printer. If you're interested in learning more about this, please reach out to me. My information will be shared at the end of the video. So let's go ahead and save our PNG. So here you'll see you can scale the size. This is how big the image file is. I recommend just leaving it right where it suggests it to be. There's rarely any instance where you want to save a bigger file. Once again, if you're thinking about that and you're unsure if you want to need a bigger file or you're not sure the application, please reach out to me. I'm happy to help. So once you do this, there's a few options. Once again, these are anything with the crown is a pro account option. So for these, transparent background, that's really useful if you're going to be making a logo for your committee. That way, anywhere you put it, it's going to not have this cream color background. But for today's purpose, we're just going to leave it with the recommended. Then you're going to download it. You'll see it pops up, says how long it's going to take, and voila, it's now ready to be shared. So, or saved, I should say. So now you've saved it. So now we've made a graphic. As you can see, there are a lot of simple ways to make this. I encourage you to create an account and explore these options. And as always, we here at the political team are here to help you. This is my passion. I love designing things. So if you have any questions or you need help, or maybe you want to run a design by someone, please reach out to me. I'm always happy to help. With that, happy creating, and we'll talk soon.